Debt is a tricky thing. It's not all bad, as it can be a helpful tool when you need to make a big purchase or pay for an asset that will grow and generate returns for you. But as we know, it can also be extremely dangerous for your bank account and your overall well-being, if you're not careful. And there are certain things that are a bad idea to take a loan for, 99.9% of the time. Steer clear of these and you'll be in much better shape financially. Some may take issue with number 6 on this list, but I think it's true. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. But for now, let's get to number 1, gambling. Gambling in general is a bad thing to get into, period. But what's even worse than burning your money at the track or at the casino, is borrowing money to fund it. The false hope of winning big is often the driving force behind people getting into debt for gambling. This is universally a bad idea because, as we know, there is no guarantee that you will win. And even if you do, there's no guarantee that the winnings will be larger than the debt you have accumulated. And always remember the saying, the house always wins. It happens to be rooted in fact, because casinos and bookmakers literally have the odds in their favor. You may strike a few winners here and there, but over the long run, it's a statistical inevitability that they will win and recoup any money that you may have won, and then some. If you must gamble for leisure now and again, it's important to always bet with money you can afford to lose, and never put yourself in a position to go into debt. Doing so will lead to some serious financial stress, and could cause you to default on repayment, leading to further financial trouble. Not to mention the fact that creditors who are willing to lend money to gamblers may tend to be the somewhat more unscrupulous kind than your typical bank. Number 2. Vacations and travel. The daily grind of the 9 to 5 can be a slog sometimes. And it's always nice to get away from it all, and recharge the batteries a little bit. And there's no doubt that vacations to far-flung, exotic locations can be a source of some great experiences and memories. But going into debt to pay for these experiences is a terrible idea. First off, if you do go into debt, it should be for an asset or a skill that is going to pay you back in future. Either through capital appreciation, returns, or a better paying job. A vacation, no matter how spectacular, unfortunately doesn't tick any of those boxes. Going into debt for a holiday is often a decision people make on impulse, without considering the consequences. To make things worse, holiday debt can be extremely expensive, with high interest rates and longish repayment periods. It's just another additional payment to lump on top of your existing obligations, which is something you don't need. As a result, the debt can quickly become unmanageable and difficult to pay off. Vacations should be a time to relax and enjoy life, not a source of future financial stress. So it's always best to use cash or a savings account to pay for trips, and not debt. Number 3. Devices and gadgets. With technology playing such a massive role in our lives these days, it's understandable that people want to upgrade their smartphones, their laptops, and other devices. And of course, there's always that new gadget or new gaming console that you just have to have. But should these things be paid for with debt? The answer, as with everything else on this list, is a clear no. Gadgets and tech devices are not investments, they're consumer goods that will soon be replaced by newer versions. In some cases, manufacturers will actually stop providing support for earlier devices after a number of years, further accelerating their obsolescence. So there's no point in going into debt for items that will lose their worth, and then have to be discarded for little or no resale value. And although some people do buy gadgets as investments, for the majority of us, it isn't a sensible move to leverage our finances. If you can't pay for a gadget immediately with cash or from your savings, then you shouldn't buy it. Practice delayed gratification by either waiting until you've saved enough to pay for it, or by waiting until it's available at a lower price through discount retailers. If you like what you've seen so far, please do subscribe and leave us a like or a comment. Now, let's continue with the video. Number 4. Extravagant weddings. Weddings are one of the most special occasions in a person's life, and everyone wants to make sure that their wedding is perfect for all attendees, and perfect for the couple, too. Thanks to social media, people have more access than ever to ideas, styles, and trends. The options are endless for creative individuals looking to make their wedding their own. Of course, there's also the pressure of hosting a picture-perfect, Insta-worthy wedding reception. This has led to more individualized and bespoke weddings than ever before. This is all great news for wedding planners and wedding venues, as there is ever-increasing demand for their services. However, the flip side for would-be brides and grooms is that these types of weddings are getting more and more expensive. Instead, why not buck the trend and opt for a smaller and simpler ceremony? It'll be more meaningful by having only your closest friends and family in attendance. You'll then be able to pay for it in cash, and avoid starting off married life by amassing a pile of debt that will be like millstones around your necks. Number 5. Expensive cars. The overwhelming reason why people purchase expensive cars is as status symbols. It can be a tremendous boost to the ego to be seen getting around town in a fancy European ride. But these types of purchases are never sensible, because a car is a depreciating asset that will lose around 10% of its value the moment you drive it off the dealership lot, and around 40% in the first 5 years of ownership. And this is even worse for luxury makes. Some can lose 50 to 60% of their original value in the first 5 years. This is due mainly to the fact that luxury car buyers tend to want to upgrade pretty frequently, so they keep trading in their 3 or 4-year-old cars for the latest model. This in turn creates a lot of supply, which drives down prices. What this means is that you'll pay for that car twice over if you go into debt to buy it. You'll have to service the interest, and live with the ever-depreciating value. You may even get into a negative equity situation, where the value of the car is less than the amount of outstanding debt. Imagine actually having to pay the bank or creditor additional cash to settle your loan, after your car has been sold. Instead, opt for more practical cars, those that keep their value better over time and are likely more economical to run as well. Or better yet, save up to pay for your vehicle in cash and enjoy the satisfaction of not going into debt for it. Number 6. Investments or shares. Unless you're a sophisticated, seasoned investor with many years of experience under your belt, it's usually a no-no to go into debt to invest. There are simply too many factors that can influence the value of a share or an investment. For anyone to be able to predict with any degree of accuracy how it will perform over time. The common reason for borrowing to invest is to amplify your gains. Unfortunately, you will also amplify your losses. In a nutshell, borrowing or using leverage in investing is usually driven by greed and the hunger for quick profits. Loans that are secured against investments also come with dreaded margin calls and forced selling, where the bank or lender can force a sale of your investment to recoup their loan, in the event of the investment dipping below a certain predetermined price. This can be disastrous to any kind of buy and hold strategy, as investments like shares will naturally fluctuate in price over the short or medium term. Investing is certainly an important weapon in your arsenal when it comes to growing your long-term wealth. But you should only do so using cash that you have saved up yourself. You'll then be much less likely to make the devastating financial mistake of going bankrupt from over-leveraging. Check out these videos next on the psychology of money, and how to make it work to your advantage.